So if you're going to follow along and you're going to step through it, like I said, start trying to log yourself in. I will go through the step 1 here of how to actually log in, where you're going, if you follow that URL, if you don't remember how to do that. So we will go ahead and get started. If you're having any issues, like I said, throw a message in chat and let Morgan know, and he can help you. But as I said here, we're going to start in Journey 1. I think there's about 6 or 7 journeys throughout the entirety of the law enforcement portal. And as I said, each journey has its own theme and focus of what we're trying to do. So inside of Journey 1 here is that registration and access approval. So what this looks like, that purpose is the law enforcement user registering. They've gone to that openunsolved.org site, which I will show you in a second. Through that site, they'll be redirected into what is called the agency registration form, where they'll put in their agency name, contact information, and if they have an authorizing official as well, and they'll submit the registration. From there, they complete that registration, and they're not actually getting access immediately into the portal. What they're going to get is these 2 emails, whether they're the primary contact on the left side, that is their email, or if they are authorizing official, essentially just CC'd on a similar email, is saying you've registered, that process is underway to be verified. Morgan and team will actually have to go in, review those registrations, and approve them access to the portal to actually allow them to come in, create those cases, and manage them there. Whatever the amount of time is for the approval process, once that is approved by Morgan and team, then they will get a follow-up email. You can see that in the screenshot below here, just saying you've been granted access. You can now get into the profile. And what this email is actually giving you is your credentials. So whatever email you signed up and registered with, and it is going to give you a temporary password at which you will find this screen. It looks very similar to what you guys are going to log into today with, and that is email, the temporary password, and then on step 2 here, the screenshot on the right side, resetting that temporary password to what your, or permanent password is going to be. Not to say you can't change it later on down the line, but to get yourself logged in. So for you guys here on the call today, you're not going through all of these registration steps, but go ahead, Morgan.
Yeah, so I'm going to say real quick, do you guys, what's going on in the back end that you don't see when an agency comes in, they just type in their name, like Chesterfield County Police. They submit it to me. Every agency gets verified manually by me right now until we can get to a better system. But what I do is I have a table on the back end that lists every law enforcement agency in the United States. And then I compare that name, I call, vet them. And then when they do the official name and what's called their ORI number, the originating agency number, it's a unique identifier for each agency. That's what goes into the record to ensure that only, by the way, there's more than one Chesterfield County in the United States. So that way we make sure only the right one for Virginia is registered. That way we prevent duplicate agencies from registering.
Yep. And while I'm not showing you the back end, the agency registration screen that I was referring to looks like this. So in this example, Greenfield Police Department came in. Jay was the primary contact signing Greenfield Police Department up for the portal here. Came in, he entered his information, his rank, his position, his email. So that was that primary contact email. And then he also wanted Eric on there as the assistant chief. And so he was the authorizing official to also receive not just the email that they had entered in for this registration, but then once they were approved to get access, they would have both gotten emails with those temporary credentials to log themselves in and get themselves set up on the portal. So after all this information is imported here, all they have to do is click submit. On that submit is where those emails that I showed you in the PowerPoint are going out to say that they've applied and that they're just waiting for a email back to say that they were approved, and then they'll come into these screenshots, reset that password, and get access. So that's a lot of just pre-setup, getting agencies, getting users in.